Since the completion of the Human Genome Project by American scientists over 10 years ago, DNA consultants in Phoenix, Arizona have been fulfilling people's dreams of finding their ancestry. If you want to discover where your ancestors came from in countries and populations around the world, this test is for you. New DNA testing technology takes your personal DNA signature, unique to you alone, and breaks down all your ancestral lines with an astonishingly simple laboratory test. DNA Consultant's research team compares your DNA profile or fingerprint to the DNA of other people in the world's largest, most complete academic database. You get a map showing the countries of the world where your ancestors all originated. Lists of your top matches to populations, not persons, but populations, including the top 10 countries in Europe and all possible ethnic groups.
And that's the second in a series of 3.
Welcome to the Family History Expo. I'm Donna Queen. I'm here with Donald Yates from DNA Consultants. And Donald, talk to us a little bit. I know this came out 2 days ago, right? The book. And the site came out a little bit before that. So talk to us about Jews and Muslims in British colonial America, correct?
That's right.
Is this the title right here?
That's correct. Jews and Muslims in British colonial America.
Okay.
And that's the second in a series of 3 that are co-authored with my research co-author, Dr. Elizabeth Hirschman, who's a professor at Rutgers University. And so we've been on the trail of mysterious ancestry in the British Isles, Scotland, and colonial America now for almost 10 years.
Okay, hopefully we have established that DNA Consultants is a legitimate DNA research company. And now we're going to reveal some of the results obtained by DNA Consultants.com, which is consistent with DNAtribes.com, as well as the information obtained by the official research team that did the DNA testing on the Armada mummies, including Ramses III, King Tut, etc. Let's look at the results. Okay, we are at DNA Consultants, home of the DNA fingerprint test. And I'm going to type in the Thuya gene. And that takes us here. So let's click on it. The Thuya gene. Now let's read it. One of the autosomal ancestry markers prominent in the royal Egyptian families of the New Kingdom. This not-so-rare gene is Central African in origin and was passed to Thuya from her forebears, queens of Upper and Lower Egypt and high priestesses of Hathor, the mother goddess. Thuya passed it to her grandson Akhenaten and great-grandson Tutankhamun, among others, as documented in a forensic study of the Armada mummies by Tiye, head of the Supreme Council of Antiquities in Cairo in 2010. Today, its highest incidence is in Somalians at nearly 50%. It is found in 40% of Muslim Egyptians. On average, 1 in 3 Africans or African Americans carries it. It crops up in high concentrations in many places around the world, such as the Basque region at 41% and in Melungians 31%, similar to Middle Easterners, but is present at only low levels in East and South Asia as well as Native America. Its lowest frequency is in the Chukchi of Siberia. Okay, now just so that we know what we're looking at on this map here, world ancestry of the Thuya gene. The green dots represent a strong match. The brown dots represent a weak match. The red dots represent no match at all, as we see in Europe. No match at all. And The clear or white dots represent no measure is possible. Okay? So the areas where you have the strongest match, concentration of green dots, of course, which is common sense actually. It's in Africa, with a high concentration in what you would call Sub-Saharan Africa. Okay? And as they stated, on average, 1 in 3 Africans or African Americans carries it. So here's a depiction showing African slavery going to North America. So you're going to find this in a lot of African Americans in North America as well. The Thuya gene is Sub-Saharan African with a low frequency in North Africa and the Old Near East, and spotty distribution elsewhere, except it is uniformly low in India and points east. This is per DNA Consultants. Now let's go to another site here. This is the Thuya gene. Let's look at King Tut's DNA. Let's just read it. The King Tut gene. Tutankhamun, also spelled Tutankhamun, is the most famous of all pharaohs. He was the son and successor of Akhenaten, grandson of Amenhotep III and Queen Tiye, and great-grandson of the royal matriarch, Queen Thuya. Archeologist Howard Carter's opening of his intact tomb in the Valley of the Kings in 1922 ranks among the most splendid discoveries of history. In 2010, genetic fingerprinting of his mummy determined that he died at the early age of 19 as a result of violence or an accident to which the incestuous relationship of his parents and several genetic defects contributed. Tutankhamun actually carries a double dose of the allele named for him. Like most of the other genes in the family, it is Central African in ancient origin. But unlike the other markers, it has a sparse distribution outside Africa with a worldwide average frequency of 4%. Still, Africans and African-influenced populations, 1 in about 10, or about twice or 3 times as likely to have it as non-Africans. Another common sense statement. And it's amazing how many non-Africans try to claim that they have some kinship with the ancient pharaohs. I mean, it's just actually ridiculous. And again, we look at the genetic markers. Green shows a strong match. Red shows no match. And brown shows a weak match. Also, African in its ultimate source, the King Tut gene finds modest distribution in East Coast American Indians, the Himalayas, Northeast Europe, and scattered other populations, including Jews. World ancestry of the King Tut gene. Digest articles. Actually, I have another video that deals extensively with the Armana mummies. So let's just look at this one. I haven't even read this article yet, but I'm confident in what we're going to find because I already know the facts. DNA Tribes Digest for February the 1st, 2013. Ramses III and African ancestry in the 20th dynasty of New Kingdom Egypt. This month's article features a geographical analysis of autosomal DNA from 2 ancient individuals, the pharaoh Ramses III, and another individual, possibly Ramses III's son, Pentuer, who lived more than 3,000 years ago during the 20th dynasty of Egypt during the Bronze Iron Age transition. A previous issue of DNA Tribes Digest identified African-related ancestry for King Tut and other royal mummies from the Armana period. In this issue, results indicate that the later pharaoh, Ramesses III, also inherited alleles from that are most frequent in present-day populations of Sub-Saharan Africa. Let's read that again. Real simply say these type of facts. That's why we're going to read it again, because they hate it. In this issue, results indicate that the later pharaoh, Ramesses III, also inherited alleles that are most frequent in present-day populations of Sub-Saharan Africa. This provides additional independent evidence of Sub-Saharan African ancestry, possibly among several ancestral components for pharaonic families of ancient Egypt. And you can read the whole article on your own. I think that's enough. Point has been made. I want to keep this video short.